We're rolling, Mason.
Yeah, we are.
You know what, Mason? I don't know if this is going to be a 2022 thing for us or not, but what are we rolling like today?
Oh boy,
You haven't
that
done
for a
one yet.
while.
Yeah. I don't know if that's a 2022 thing, but do you have anything right off the top of your head right now?
I mean, if I was to think of kind of what's fresh on my mind right now, we're rolling around like Patrick Mahomes was rolling around when he got ragdogged when he was out of bounds, and that guy in the Bengals got that penalty that pretty much made him lose the game. So we're rolling around like Patrick Mahomes.
Okay. You know what? We're going to keep this banter short and sweet today because we got an awesome interview coming up.
We got to do a little football talk, though.
But we're going to go into the football a little bit.
Okay, but before we do that, welcome to the Hits from the Sticks podcast. I don't know what number this is, but welcome to another fine edition here in the bunkhouse in Olds, Alberta.
Yeah.
Football.
All
right. Super Bowl.
Do
we want to do a quick recap on the games or no?
You do a quick one.
Okay.
Got 30 seconds. Go.
Eagles destroyed the 49ers. Wasn't the 49ers' fault. Just quarterback problems all year. You know, they were cursed. The quarterback position was cursed on that team. So they had a solid team, but you know what? At the end of the day, when you don't have a quarterback, you can only really get so far. So Eagles crushed them, deserved that win. They have a solid team. They're going to be there. They deserve to be in the Super Bowl. Now the Bengals Chiefs. Yeah, I've been seeing quite a lot of stuff about that game over social media the past couple days, pretty much ever since the game happened. And man, it was a lot of people are pissed, man.
Yeah.
Everybody's saying it was the Bengals versus the refs, and I mean,
like,
I could kind of see
yes and no. I thought there's a lot more fouls called against the Bengals.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The Bengals versus the refs.
Yeah.
And I mean, obviously, I don't put too much weight into that because it's like, yeah, even if the refs do make a couple suspect calls, usually there's enough time in the game that if you're going to win the game, you had plenty of time to make proper plays to win the game, right? It's not like the game came down to like a couple plays. But it's funny, you see all the conspiracies now about the NFL being rigged, trying to rig the Chiefs to winning that game because the stadium that they're going to be playing at for the Super Bowl is the State Farm Stadium. Who's the State Farm poster boy?
Who's that?
Patrick Mahomes. He's in all their commercials.
So are you saying this
also
whole thing
another
is rigged?
What?
You saying this whole thing is rigged?
I'm not saying it's rigged, but some people are. Another storyline that people are saying is NFL rigged is like, or it's just another kind of storyline, was that Andy Reid, he was the coach of the Chiefs. He's now coaching against the team that he used to coach for that I think he previously won a Super Bowl with. So there's that storyline. And then also there's the Kelsey brothers.
Yes.
There's one on the Eagles and one on the Chiefs. So it's I don't know, just a lot of people saying NFL rigged right now, but and I'm kind of, I mean, I'm not really in that boat, but I really wanted Joe Burrow to make it to the Super Bowl again.
I think a lot of people did. But Super Bowl, who do you think is going to win?
I got to go with the Eagles, man. Got to go with the Eagles.
They had such a good season this year that they just got to cap it off for the Super Bowl.
Well, and it's crazy because everybody's like, oh, Patrick Mahomes is the best of the best, and he is. Don't get me wrong, like he's the best quarterback in the NFL right now.
I think the Eagles are just a better team.
People keep on sleeping on Jalen Hurts. Like he had an amazing season, and Mahomes is hurt right now. Granted, he does now have like 2 weeks to rest up, so he'll probably be fine. But the Eagles have way more depth and are better in every position other than the quarterback. So really, it's just going to be a matter of if Patrick Mahomes just balls out or not, right? But I think the Eagles should have it.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah.
My over's on the Eagles. Over's on the Eagles.
The over?
Yeah.
You're taking the over?
Yeah. Is that right?
Over how many points?
I think Eagles are going to win by. I think they're going to win by 2 touchdowns.
Really?
Yeah.
So they're going to slaughter them.
I wouldn't say slaughter.
2 touchdowns is a lot, man. And for the Super Bowl, I think
they're going to go up 1 touchdown beginning, and then it's going to be back and forth. They're going to go up first, it's going to go back and forth, and then towards the end, they're just going to have some good defensive plays, and they're going to go up two touchdowns toward the end.
Also, if you listen to our previous episode with Brennan, his quarterback or his Super Bowl champ pick was the Eagles. So if you're somebody who made that bet after that interview, you might be able to cash in on that.
Oh, yeah.
All thanks to Brennan.
Yeah, all thanks to Brennan. All right.
Anyways, that's enough football talk.
All right. Let's hop into everyone's favorite segment, the Western word of the week.
All right, guys. Western word of the week here. First word, apple.
I'm assuming it's
look
not
at
the
this
fruit.
sheet. Yeah, no, it's not the fruit. Unfortunately,
Which I mean makes
That would
sense.
make
'Cause I
it
don't
too
think they really
easy.
had apples in the Wild Wild West. Really
it
think about
probably did.
it. Well, yes, in certain areas, yes, but not in like the desert areas.
Yeah, not in Arizona.
Not in Arizona. Maybe like I don't know, Montana or something. I don't know. Probably not.
Does Montana count as the Wild West?
I mean, it technically is.
Yeah, that's fair.
Just a different part of it.
I think when you think of the Wild West, though, you think more of like that southwestern
Yeah.
portion of the country.
Mm-hmm. Anyways, what's an apple?
All right. Apple is a slang name for the horn of a saddle.
Oh,
Yeah.
that makes sense.
So next time you're about to get bucked off of a horse and you just go to grab for the horn, you can be like, "Yep, I went for the apple and I just hung on for dear life."
Yeah, yeah.
So,
What's the second word there?
that is a good question. I haven't figured that out yet.
Okay, okay. While he's doing that, I'm gonna give a couple quick shout outs. First of all, if you haven't watched it, tune into our YouTube to get a full ranch tour actually of Tall Timber Cattle Co. Link is in the description of that video for all their beef products. So go check that out and check out the video as well. Show the boys some love. And of course, Bar Double Diamond. Use code Hicks10 for some savings. So yeah, what's the second word here, Mace?
Okay, we're gonna go with bust.
Bust. Like busting one, like busting a move.
Busting a little jig.
Yeah, busting a little jig.
Not quite. So I don't really understand where this comes from, but it says in here to throw an animal violently, to break a horse.
Oh,
So
I mean that kind of makes sense.
to bust, yeah, does it?
I mean you're like
You're busting the rust off. You're busting
busting it up, you know.
Yeah, I guess it makes sense.
Kind of makes sense. Yeah, I'm supposed to just use the word break, but
Would you ever bust a horse, Dev?
no, that's not my specialty.
No. Do you think you could if you had to?
I mean, if you have to, you have to. So
Yeah, I guess so.
it's the way she goes. But thank you again, Mason,
No
for
problem.
giving us that Western Word of the Week intelligence.
There we go.
And then quickly, like I said, short banter today. We got an awesome interview with Brittney, aka the King Cowgirl Closet off of Instagram.
Were you gonna try to say your last name?
I
but
can't.
forgot?
I know what it looks like, but I think I butchered it real hard in the interview
Yeah,
at the
I'm pretty
beginning.
sure you did.
So
Also, just a quick note here: if you are watching on the YouTube, you will notice that we got a little more color on here now.
yeah, it's
Behind
nice.
us. Yeah,
It's nice. Nice little backdrop.
that's right.
Yeah.
Some good teams up there.
Mm-hmm. All right, one more segment though before we get into the interview, real quick. We're going with our wild and wacky world. As you guys know, we look up odd news headlines. I'm switching up usually we use one site, it's called IUD or something like that. UPI. I'm switching up. There's another one called AP News that has a different section.
Okay.
Because I was looking through the headlines, UPI, and I didn't think there was anything that interesting. This is the first one that came up for this AP News. All right, ready? Okay. Fully clothed bathing burglar found in Seattle bathroom.
Wait, what?
Fully clothed, like fully clothed.
Yeah.
Bathing burglar found in Seattle bathroom.
Bathing burglar.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
A man suspected of breaking into Seattle home has refused to come clean about his intentions, even though police found him fully clothed in a bathtub filled with water. Yeah. It says here.
Why?
Wow. We're about to figure out. A woman returned from her home Friday night to find a window smash, unknown man inside the house.
He's just having a bath.
She remained outside and called the police. Upon their arrival, officers instructed anyone inside to come out. When they got no reply, they searched the home. But then they didn't find the suspect in the bathroom.
He's like scrub-a-dub-dub.
The man was clothed but very wet, and the bathtub was full of water, police said in a statement. The 27-year-old man was arrested for residential burglary. He refused, which makes sense, refused to explain his actions, including his choice of a bathing spot, police said.
So, and he denied it hard. They're probably like, dude, why did you take a bath? He's like, I didn't bath. It's like, dude, you're wet. Like, no,
I slipped.
Yeah, it wasn't me. I don't know who did that.
So
you're wet.
Yeah, no. I thought that was a little odd. That's definitely wild and wacky. That's for sure. So
Yeah, that guy's probably got some wild and wacky stuff going on in his head.
yeah. All right, Mason. What's yours?
Okay. Newly discovered giant water lily species breaks world record. So this thing has to be genetically modified, you would think, eh? It says newly discovered giant water lily species.
Oh,
Oh, no, wait. It says a species of giant water lily native to South America has broken several world records.
okay.
Okay, so okay, how big is it? So this is so it's been present in the Royal Botanical Gardens in London for 177 years. Okay, why doesn't it just say how big it is? Okay. So these lily pads are able to support up to 176 pounds of weight.
Oh, that's a
So
lot.
yeah,
That's heavy.
neither of us could sit on it, but
No.
and it can grow larger than 10 feet across. So this one, it was 10 feet 6 inches in diameter. A
Oh,
water lily.
really?
Yeah, can fit some pretty big frogs on there.
Okay. It's big frogs, big humans,
Yeah.
or I guess little sized humans. All right, I got another one here. Ready? Just wait. I gotta refine it again. Oh, 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 oh. All right, ready? This one's gonna be controversial.
Okay.
This is definitely not a Western world thing to do. Japan firm opens whale meat vending machines to push sales.
Whale meat vending machines. Isn't that just blubber? Or is blubber and whale meat different?
Well, like blubber is a big part of the whale meat. A Japanese whaling operator, after struggling for years to promote its products amid protests from conservative environmentalists, has found a new way to cultivate clientele and bolster sales by creating vending machines for whale meat. It's an unmanned outlet in a port in near Tokyo. Basically houses 3 machines for whale sashimi, whale bacon, whale skin, and whale steak. Prices range from $7.70 to $23.
Wonder what whale tastes like.
Like
I
I
feel
bet
like
it's
it'd be
kind of fatty, you
Yeah, I
know.
was gonna say it's probably like really chewy and fatty.
It's probably chewy and fatty, and like this is definitely something that would not be a North American thing or a European thing. That's for sure.
Oh no.
So,
Well, don't they do some whaling out in Eastern Canada?
I think though that's not a thing.
Not anymore.
No, and that was the thing back in the day, but that's not been fact checked. So I doubt it, and I think it's just the Asian countries that do the whaling now.
Yeah, you're probably right.
So, yeah, no, you can get a hand-sized chunk of neatly wrapped whale meat in a freezer bag for $23.
Damn.
So,
Damn. Okay, wait. What was Moby Dick was a whale, right?
Yeah.
Was that like that was European? That was by Europe though, right?
I don't know.
Should that be a research project
Maybe.
for the podcast?
Maybe.
We have to read Moby Dick.
Read Moby Dick.
We have to read a chapter every week.
Yeah, and then we gotta
then do a
explain it
quick
on the
recap.
podcast. Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe.
Or
Stay
should
tuned.
we pick a better book?
Probably should pick a book.
When's the last time you read a book, Dev? Like an actual book, not like doing research for like farming or something like that.
Like an actual book?
Yeah.
I don't know. Senior year high school.
Probably same, to be honest.
I bet you I didn't even fully read the whole book. I probably just read parts of it.
Does reading the newspaper count?
I mean,
I read the newspaper.
yeah, well, maybe.
Does that make me an old man?
I wouldn't say, oh, I'm just saying you're just informed. You're
Right.
wise. You're
You
trying
gotta
to be
see
wise.
what's going on in your local community.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I
And
think,
every
I
now
think
and
you're
then you
fine.
see somebody you know that's in there, and you're like, yeah, I know that guy.
Like when we saw Calvin and Tim in the newspaper.
That's right.
There
That's
you go.
right.
All right, last one.
Okay. Fish spends owner's money.
Oh, what?
Okay, so what happened? And I'll click on it in a second. This is still the title, but reveals credit card info on YouTube stream. Okay. And also, isn't it kind of weird how everybody's just streaming everything nowadays?
I mean,
Like Twitch and stuff like that.
oh, like Twitch.
Like live streaming.
Yeah, but
Okay.
apparently there's big money.
Apparently. Okay, so a Japanese YouTuber created a custom setup to allow his pet fish to play Pokemon on his Nintendo Switch.
What?
But a malfunction led to the fish spending money at the eShop and revealing the owner's credit card information on the live stream.
Oh no.
Okay,
Oh,
so yeah, so he had it so the fish was able to play this game, which was weird. From the home screen, the fish's movements caused the Nintendo eShop to open, and the pets only spent $4 of the owner's money to buy points, but it revealed the credit card information, which was the bigger problem.
Oh no.
I don't know if it says in here if people
How
were
much
able
was
to
taken?
$10.
His credit card was maxed out.
Yeah, it doesn't say anything on here of anybody stealing any money, but there was probably a significant amount.
I bet
Do you
got
know?
maxed out.
Do you know who DJ Khaled is?
Yeah.
Do you remember how like when we were in high school, he was super huge on Snapchat? He was always like posting that stuff like what would he always say? It'd be like we the best or like stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
I remember my buddies telling me that in one of his Snapchat videos, he accidentally showed his credit card information and he lost like 65 grand in like 13 minutes.
Holy shit. Could you imagine? Just looking at it and seeing
Dude.
your credit cards maxed out and you don't even remember how.
I would be sick to my stomach.
Yeah. And I'll just be like, what the fuck?
Although if it's your credit card though, can't you just be like, oh, it was fraud, and then you don't have to pay that?
I think in those situations, it's your fault. If you get what I mean.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Yeah. Also, what type of goldfish or whatever type of fish was? Who lets a fish play video games? I think we're missing that whole point.
Yeah, come on. We don't want too much evolution going on here. We're worried about robots taking over. We should be worried about the fish taking over.
The goldfish.
Yeah, I think it was a beta fish, actually.
Oh, beta fish. That was really smart then.
Are they?
I don't know. Are they smart?
Big brain?
Big brain?
Big brain fish?
Big brain
I thought they were
fish.
dumb. Don't they like eat each other?
I don't know. Maybe they're just aggressive.
Mm.
Maybe that's why, like, I bet you, you know what? I bet you this beta fish was playing like Super Smash Bros. I bet you it was just killing the game.
Oh, he was playing Pokemon.
Yeah. Oh, I guess that works too. But like, even like, I bet you like a beta fish would do well at like UFC, where all you just do is just tap buttons as hard as you can. That's fast.
It's like when you play NHL and you like get in a fight with somebody when you play Chell.
Yeah.
You just spam the buttons. I think there was an actual like way to fight properly in that game.
Oh yeah, definitely, hands down.
I remember one time I was playing against my sister, and like I instigated a fight, and then we were fighting, and I was just spamming the buttons, and she was doing the same. She like kicked the absolute like shit out of me. So I got mad, so I took her controller and like threw it across the room. It's like, no, hey, how are you winning? We're both doing the exact same thing.
Yeah. Funny.
So
yeah.
Don't play NHL with your sister. It'll just make you mad. That's the lesson for the day.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right. Well, like we said, banters will be short and quick because we got a long. This is definitely a longer interview, but it was a really good interview.
Really, really good, folks. Like
really good.
Yeah, we enjoyed this interview.
One of our best ones, probably hands down so far that we've been able to witness or be a part of, I guess. Go check out Brittney on all your socials. Canadian Cowgirl Closet. She's a pretty big following already, but give her some love, type of thing. And yeah, should we hop in?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, we're going, Mace.
We're rolling. All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome to a new interview on the Hicks from the Sticks podcast. Devin, you want to kind of give an introduction of who we got on the pod today?
So I found her on Instagram. She's known as the Canadian Cowgirl Closet, correct? On Instagram, on your social medias?
Yes, sir.
All right. And then her name is Brittney. I'm gonna butcher your last name, so I want
to hear it. So let's go. I'm ready.
Chomistek.
Chomistek.
Not even close. So the H is silent.
Worse. That's not even the worst I've heard.
What is the worst you've heard?
I got called cow stick at a rodeo once.
That actually be a good nickname. Hey, come over here, cow stick.
Yeah. And the next day I was just Brittney.
Oh, there you go.
There you go.
Yeah, probably easier that way. I think everybody can pronounce that. Yeah.
All right, Brittney. Do you want to kind of introduce yourself, where you're from, and who you are, kind of thing?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm Brittney Chomistek. I'm from Southern Alberta. I was Miss Rodeo Canada in 2018, which was an absolute great journey. It's actually brought me to where I am now with my Instagram page and social media aspect, whether it's with fashion or rodeo videos and all that fun jazz. And then I'm now a grade 2-3 teacher out at Foremost School, which I am in my first year of teaching. I absolutely love it. And it's been an exciting year. Lots has happened since my title is Miss Rodeo Canada, and I can't wait for more things coming forward. So yeah,
So whereabouts in Southern Alberta were you from?
Medicine Hat.
Okay, how do you like Foremost?
You know, I love it. I still live in Medicine Hat here. I drive to Foremost every day, but it is a small school. Everybody knows everybody. It's a great community, and I couldn't ask for a better place to work at. Like, I have kids that understand rodeo and my passions as well, and we also have a rodeo academy that we're building out there. So I wouldn't get that in any of our urban schools here at Medicine Hat. So it's kind of the perfect fit, other than
Yeah.
having to drive an hour away. But you know, sometimes it's nice to jam out in the morning, get my tunes rolling, and head to school.
I guess a random just kind of icebreaker question to get going right off the bat then is, what type of tunes are you jamming out to on the way out?
Well, I have quite the eclectic music selection.
Backstreet Boys.
Oh yeah, you know, a little bit of Britney Spears in there, maybe. Maybe some
Ooh.
motivational speakers. Sometimes I'm a huge classic 80s rock gal. I grew up on that. My dad was a huge AC/DCs and Rolling Stone fan, so those are some nice like jamming tunes. But thankfully, you know, I'm leaving my house quite early in the morning at about 6. Nobody's on the road, so when I'm, you know, singing hardcore, nobody's passing me, so I don't have
Nice.
any judgments.
Do you coach any teams there in Foremost? I went to school at St. Mary's in Tabor, so we had some rivalries with Foremost for basketball. We kind of destroyed you guys at volleyball, so that wasn't too big of an issue. But basketball, you guys were usually pretty good.
I'm actually the basketball coach or assistant coach for our girls team. And fun fact about me is I actually played on a Canadian tour team over in Europe when I was 16. So I loved basketball when I was younger.
Okay, I know you're not supposed to ask girls this, but how tall are you?
I am proudly 5'2".
All right, point
Oh.
guard.
Point guard.
Oh, come on, give me some faith. Maybe, you know,
Well, you definitely were played center, that's for sure.
hey, you never know. I might have been the tallest on the team for all you know.
Well, that's fair. How tall was the center on your team?
She was almost 6 foot. 6'1".
Ooh, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That checks
And
out.
she was like, she had her growth spurt in like grade 5. Her name was Jenna, and she was the tallest girl in our entire league. So it was great to have her on our team.
Yeah, right on.
Yeah, but now
Awesome.
good old point guard for me.
Yeah, so you're a good shooter then. That's good. That was
Love
one
it.
thing I couldn't do. That's why I played center.
I love defense. That's like my go-to. That fueled my fire when I knew I could defend somebody better. So then that made my offense stronger as well. Because then that's where I fueled myself.
Yeah. Was that at Medhat High where you went to school then?
Yep, I
So that-
graduated from Hat High. I should have, just based off where I lived and where I grew up, I should have gone to Eagle Butte. But when I was really young, my mom, like going into kindergarten, my dad taught at Eagle Butte, and then my mom was in sponsorship and recruitment at the college here. So she would drop me at my grandparents, and I ended up going to school in town. And then when you're, you know, junior high, high school, all your friends are going to Hat High, McCoy, Crescent Heights. It was like, oh, I could go to Eagle Butte, but all my friends are going to these other places. So then I stayed in town.
Yeah, because that's what is that 3A or 4A? Like that's a big school.
Yeah, we were 3A, but we played in 4A my year, I believe.
Not
We
a big
had
deal.
games in Lethbridge. Like, oh, it was crazy. Almost a little too much.
Yeah.
Fair.
Humble flex, you're too good for 3A.
Um,
Humble flex.
Yeah, it was. I loved it. I loved basketball. It was definitely my passion, and unfortunately got cut short due to injuries and but I wouldn't be here today where I'm at right now if I wouldn't have had that little turnaround. And so, you know, everything happens for a reason.
No, right on.
Right on, right on. All right, we got another icebreaker question, just the one that's on the sheet here. So obviously with the whole rodeo thing, you eat a lot of fast food, I'm assuming, right? Always on
Yeah.
the road. All right. So the top 3 restaurants that you see in most Canadian towns are definitely McDonald's. Like fast food is McDonald's, Dairy Queen, and A&W.
Does Subway count as fast food?
Well, that's like healthy. So much.
That's healthy food.
Yeah. This is like burger joint.
Okay.
So out of the 3, which was your favorite or most common that you chose?
Okay, well, I have 2 parts to it. So
Okay.
I would go get my chicken strips from McDonald's if I could pick, and then my fries from DQ and then get like an ice cream treat. That would be like a perfect scenario. But my probably go-to is Dairy Queen.
Okay.
Gotcha. Awesome.
Yeah, Dairy Queen slept on for their food. I love their burgers there.
I
People think
love-
it's just an ice cream place, but there's so much more to it.
No, exactly. You get the whole package. One-stop shop. One-stop shop.
That's right.
And then since you've been in Foremost now for about a year, have you explored any like the restaurants in that little town yet?
Not yet, but I've heard the food is actually absolutely amazing. So thankfully, I haven't left my lunch at home yet. So I haven't had to venture to that route. But the locals say the local bar has an amazing food. And then there's like a Chinese restaurant that has a bit of everything. And the person who cooks at it was actually like a professional chef. And
Okay.
yeah, and everyone talks about it. Like it's even all the kids are like, Miss Chomistek, you need to go there. I'm like, okay, I'll get my lunch, I promise. They're like, we'll take you. I'm like, okay, sounds good.
Sounds like you're gonna have to forget your lunch on purpose one of these days.
Yeah. Well, I'm a picky eater, so that makes me nervous. I like having my own lunch.
Because so I was able to spend the summer scouting fields in southern Alberta and stuff like that. So I did run into Foremost a bit because we had a few clients out there, and I forget what it's called, but like you go down Main Street, if you're coming from the south end, you go past the school, and it's in that little main area right before the intersection. It must be the bar. I don't know. You go walk in there, and there's like 2 sections. There's like the bar section and the restaurant section. That had pretty good food.
Yep.
And
I'm
the
surprised.
golf course had decent. It was decent. I'll give it a 5 out of 10, but it was decent.
Surprised they would have gluten-free options in Foremost.
So I cheated.
I've heard the
Yep,
golf
that
course
makes sense.
really good food in the summer. Like they have some of the teachers have like a golf league that they participate in, and they say the best part is when you get to go to the food section and just enjoy your crappy golf game and then eat the food and enjoy the company after.
Eat all your blues away.
Yeah, I'm not a good golfer. I have not had good experiences golfing, and I'm proud to say that I just will never be a professional golfer.
Hey, it's just not for everybody.
Right? Somebody's got to drive the golf cart, okay?
That's right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Somebody needs to stay sober and responsible enough to drive.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right, let's hop into the meat and potatoes here. So, like you said before, you're Miss Rodeo Canada in 2018, correct?
Yes.
What led you to become a rodeo queen? Like, was that something you did before, like in high school type of thing? Was it an aspiration you had as a younger child, or is it something that just kind of happened?
You know, when I was younger, not at all. Like, not even the slightest. I was a very shy kid. My mom was a Miss Rodeo Canada too, actually, and we're the first mother-daughter to win the title, which is pretty cool. But
That is cool.
you know, I grew up riding horses and just loving on them. I didn't have a desire to be in the public eye. And actually, what happened with basketball is I actually got a concussion, 5, and I had to learn how to read and write all over again in grade 11. And yeah, it was pretty crazy, but you know, it's a cool story to be able to tell people. And the best thing about it was my horses were there for me. So instead of having practices 4 nights a week and tournaments and then riding anytime I was at home, it was like I went outside and I did that every day just to take a kid that, you know, played sports all of her life, even through the summer, did camps and everything, and tell her to sit in a room and deal with her headaches. It was like, I'm going crazy. And so my parents said as long as I let them know that I was out with my horses, because I had absolutely terrible balance. I actually couldn't even stand with my feet planted with my eyes closed without falling over. It was so bad. And so I started to ride a lot more, and more so just it was where I could have no judgment. You know, it wasn't like, oh, you can't read anymore, you can't write, you can't count. It was like, oh, it's just me and my horse. And from that, I kind of randomly looked at my mom and said, I want to be a rodeo queen. And she was like, okay, okay.
I've been waiting for this.
Yeah, she never pushed it when I was younger because you couldn't even get me to say hi to people. I was so shy. And so she's like, okay, like, you know, you're going to have to speak. And I was like, yep, I'm going to join 4-H. And the only reason I wasn't in 4-H because I knew I had to speak. I'm doing that. So I joined 4-H and went to provincials that year for speaking, actually. And from there, I did 4-H for, I believe it was 3 years before I ran for Medicine Hat, because you have to run for a pro rodeo title and win before you can run for Miss Rodeo Canada. So I did that, and I actually blanked out on all my public speaking my first year. Like, I don't even remember. I remember walking up and being like, Madam Chairperson, and like, that's it. And then I remember sitting down and my mom would be like, how did you not remember? I'm like, I have no idea. It was just like how my body coped with the stress of speaking. And so I, you know, took the 3 years of practicing at 4-H to get better at my speaking and the other aspects. You know, I already had those in my life with the riding and, you know, all that rodeo knowledge and stuff. And so just kind of took it a little further. And then when I won Medicine Hat, I did a ton of clinics down south. I went to Oklahoma, I went to Washington. Their queen pageants are like ours on steroids down there. So I knew if I could go down there and learn some things that I'd have the best shot of my ability to run for Miss Rodeo Canada. And I just kind of went for it.
Oh, right on. It sounds like your horses were pretty therapeutic for you. Do you want to shout out their names?
Oh gosh, the one horse that got me through it all was, his name was Magnum. Magnum. He's a buckskin, and he was super pushy. You know, always wanted it to be near you and push on you and rub on you. And I could do a little bit of liberty stuff with him, and I would just go out there and enjoy his company. And then my dad actually bought a new rope horse, which I ended up borrowing long term. You know, price of having a daughter, right?
Yeah.
And his name was Cash, and he carried
Cash.
Yep, his registered name was Skipping in the Cash, but he's not made me any cash yet.
Nice.
Yeah, fair enough. So you were just all straight basketball, or did you do any rodeo events as well growing up?
Not competing. I hated the idea of like being in front of people and performing, like with riding and roping. I wanted to ride to enjoy. I was that girl that would go out and brush her horses and sit on them and, you know, just hop on in the field. And they were just literally like a childhood therapy. Just that's what they were for me. And then my dad actually quit roping before I was born. So he kind of moved away from that world just because he's either all in or all out. And so when he decided to go back to school to be a teacher, you know, he decided to put roping on hold altogether. And then when I decided, I'm going to be a rodeo queen, that he started to, you know, get back into riding more with me, and he started roping more, and now we both rope together. And so it just kind of built off of that. But I didn't really have a desire to rodeo. I wanted to be there. But I had weekend sports all the time. So it was like, that was my passion at the time. Horses were like my enjoyment, and riding was my enjoyment, and all that stuff. But my drive was actually to play college basketball down south somewhere. I'd started going to like ID camps in grade 9, so that my face and my name were out there, and, you know, I was trying to go that direction. But, you know, everything happens for a reason. I wouldn't be a teacher without you know, having all that stuff happen. So I probably would have gone to school for a general degree. You know,
Yeah.
You know, when you're playing a game of basketball, usually there's a lot of people watching you, right?
That didn't faze me at all. Like, it was, and I think that's because my dad is very competitive, and so am I. So that athletic gene had always been there, that it didn't matter. Like, I could be at a family event and, you know, we're going to play softball or baseball. It's like, I'm in, I'm playing. But if my mom was like, go say hi to all your cousins, I would have been like, hi.
Yeah.
It just was fine. Sports didn't bother me.
All right. Well, looks like I'm not playing Monopoly with you anytime soon.
Very competitive. I'm not even not even gonna deny it.
Awesome. So you said before you became Miss Rodeo Canada, you were Miss. Well, what's the official title of the Medicine Hat Pro Rodeo Queen?
The Medicine Hat Exhibition and Stampede Queen. It's a long one.
What like so what kind of goes into becoming that role type of thing? Like what type is there a competition behind it? Like how does that work?
Absolutely. So Medicine Hat is actually a week-long queen pageant. It kind of resembles exactly how Miss Rodeo Canada does their pageant as well. It's probably one of the, I believe it's only the only pro rodeo title that actually is that long. Most queen titles take 2-3 days to have their competition, and then you run for Canada. It's a long one. But for Medicine Hat, you have horsemanship, which you have to do groundwork, which is saddling and unsaddling your horse, explaining the type of equipment, why you use it, what it is. The more you can talk during that portion of the competition, the less questions they ask because you're already telling them the information. And then we had to answer equine science questions. I had to do a barrel pattern. I had to do a flag pattern. I had to do a wave lap, a reining pattern, and then I had to do cutting. And then there was the public speaking portion, which was a memorized speech for about 3 to 5 minutes, an impromptu question and a common question. And then there's personal interviews, which is usually an hour-long portion. You sit down and judges ask you questions, and that's probably most girls' most nerve-wracking part is that and public speaking. And then there's also modeling, which is we have a fashion show on the Friday, and that lots of people think that's like the beauty aspect, and it's actually how well you can like present yourself in front of a crowd, because when you do win a title, you're wearing all your sponsors' clothes and hats and jewelry, and like everything's all down to a T, that they want you to be confident in what you're wearing and portray yourself in a positive way, because you're like a walking billboard for those sponsors.
Mhm.
And there's a personality portion as well, which they judge you all throughout the week. We have personality judges that follow us around. I believe our day started most of the time at like 6:30, 6 in the morning, and then would go till about 8 o'clock at night for Medicine Hat, or probably about 7 to 8, depending on what day it was, what part of the competition was happening. And then we also had secret judges, which are judges that are just randomly civilians at all the things that you're going to. It could be a pancake breakfast, it could be a sponsor visit, and they're there to see what you're like when the judges aren't around. So maybe you're going to Lamley's and you're trying on your clothes for your fashion show, and they're just over by the change room area, and you're talking with the other competitors, and so they want to see what you're like when you're not in front of like a judged public eye, because that's where kind of lots of people's true identity shows, and that's a nice way to keep the pageant really authentic. And the same goes for Miss Rodeo Canada, same kind of setup exactly, except for Miss Rodeo Canada, you then have to go to the rodeo in the evening, and most of your events don't end till probably about 11:30, 12 at night, and then you're up at 4 in the morning to go to another pancake breakfast.
That's a lot more stuff than
Oh,
That's busy, and that takes an entire week.
Yep. So usually there's one portion of the competition every day. So usually about Wednesday of Medicine Hat. So we start on a Sunday in Medicine Hat. We have a dinner, and we get to meet our judges. We get to bring our families and all that. And then usually Monday, Tuesday is visiting sponsors, visiting rodeo events that are going on within our city, preparing for our rodeo week, which comes at the end of July. And then horsemanship's on Wednesday, public speaking's on Thursday, fashion show's on Friday, and then the crowning is on the Saturday. And then for Miss Rodeo Canada, it's kind of changed a little bit, but my year we started actually 3 days before the pageant actually was officially like a go. We had to do the kids corral and the chili cook-off in Edmonton, which was 3 days before. Then we had a meet and greet on the Sunday, and then we went to the next Friday. So it can be quite a long process, but that's exactly what your year is. People think we're just in the arena signing autographs and waving, but we are at every single pancake breakfast in the morning. We then go to all the sponsor visits that sponsor that rodeo to say hi, thank you for what you do, showing our support for what they do to make sure that we can have a rodeo. You're then at the rodeo, you're visiting with people, you're the connection between the competitors and the people sitting in the stands. They want to ask you questions and all that stuff. Then usually most rodeos have a night show or a chuck wagon wagon that you then have to attend and introduce the bands or introduce things that are going on, then stay, mingle, do booth visits, go visit the sponsors and the suites and all that. And then your day's over at about, there were some nights I'd be at rodeos and I was at a sponsored event till 1 or 2 in the morning and then had to be up again for another pancake breakfast.
A lot of pancakes as well.
A lot of
I take it, eh?
pancakes.
Oh, yeah.
You probably can't even eat them anymore, eh?
They're not my favorite. I'm not even gonna lie. At Medicine Hat, we crown. Well, now we crown our girls during the rodeo, but before we were crowned like 2 weeks in advance. So the rodeo was like our first event. And the one day we went to 3 pancake breakfasts around the city, and I got to the third one, and I asked for 1 pancake and 1 sausage, and they were like, "Oh, are you not hungry? Like, is everything okay?" I'm like, "No, ma'am, this is like my 3rd pancake this morning. Like, I'm just hungry."
Here, give me a waffle, maybe. Let's mix it up a bit.
I was at Brooks, and they had like this huge pancake station with like, whipped cream and like toppings of like strawberries and blueberries and all sorts of different sauce. And it was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing.
All right, I think what we should do is we should brainstorm quick. So there's all the events you just listed. Now,
Yeah.
do you think that they should replace some with other things or maybe add some things into that as well? Or do you
Ooh,
think
that's
it's
a good
good the
one.
way it is? I think
Ooh.
there should be like a singing competition as well. That'd be
Oh.
kind of cool.
I sing in the truck and that's it. Very proudly in the truck, like I said, when I go to school. But I'm a terrible singer. I'd be like, whoop, she's not gonna win now. Who cares about the other category? She's done.
Just do tequila.
Yeah. Oh god.
That's an easy one.
Yeah.
Yeah, but rodeo queens can't drink. Fun fact.
You can't even attend the cabarets.
No, we actually have to leave by like 11 o'clock. So that's as long as kids can stay at a cabaret. So if kids aren't allowed at it anymore, no longer our rodeo queens should be able to attend, and nor can you take your crown off and then go to the cabaret after.
Okay,
Okay.
that makes sense. That's probably smart.
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
It's
So like,
kind of
my
more.
question is, you're going on for about a week,
Mhm.
and like you got people watching you 24/7. How do you mentally just stay like you're in the game, right? Like it's like basketball, right? You're in the game. How do you stay in the game for a whole week for 12 hours a day?
Can't do anything about what you already did. All you can do is plan for the future. So it was like every day. I had a great roommate. So we actually we room with our competitor. So I had Kyla Williams as she was Sundry at the time, and she was my rock. I'm not even gonna lie. She was amazing. There was lots of times that I was thinking like I absolutely bombed that and all this, and she was like, no, we got this. And I'm like, this is my competitor, and she's so amazing. And so each night we would kind of sit and like debrief things, talk about it, and then it was like, okay, let's go to bed. Like tomorrow's a new day. You can't control what had just happened. And the best thing about my contest, so my grandma sent me this big pile of envelopes, and they were labeled for the day and like after the activity. So like Monday, Tuesday after public speaking, Wednesday after horsemanship. And it was all these little quotes she had written me, like handwritten notes and funny pictures of like, it could have been like a cat being scared or just something to like brighten up my day. And I look forward to opening those, and that opening out each night was like, okay, thanks. Like it didn't matter. She didn't know how I did preparing for these. She was just trying to be there for me because she couldn't be up in my room, giving that grandma hug that we all need sometimes. And then she had an envelope that was if you win and if you didn't win. And when I won, I opened the one I won. And then I opened the other one and they said the exact same thing. They had the exact same quote in it. They had the exact same message from my grandma. And I still have them. Actually, I've never gotten rid of them. But
No, that's good.
That was probably what really, those letters and that roommate really got me through the week, because you can't control anything that you've already done. You can try and move forward, but if you focus on your last thing that you did, doesn't matter if you're roping or playing basketball, if you focus on that last shot and say you can't, you definitely won't. And all you can do is hope that you prepared enough and just let the cards fall where they may.
Did your grandma ever send you memes?
No, grandma has never sent me memes. She is a huge Facebook fan, so I get all these little Facebook videos now. Even still, she loves Facebook, and they're great. You know, you open them up, and usually she has great timing. Sometimes, you know, you're just having a stressed day, or you know, something didn't go right, and then you open them and you go, "Oh, grandma, thank you. I needed that." But you know, pageants are all personal opinion, how well I think you speak, how well I think you ride, how well I think your personality is. The only thing that is set in stone is, I guess I forgot to mention this, you have to do a written exam, which is on rodeo knowledge and equine science. And Miss Rodeo Canada, I think it was 40 questions for equine science, 40 questions for rodeo knowledge. And that's the only thing that is set in stone. Everything else is personal opinion. So I always tell girls when I'm at clinics that, you know, you might not have won or you did win, but that was that week. The next week, it could be something different. Different judges, it could be a different result. You just have to make sure you be the best you can be, and there's nothing wrong with that, even if a judge doesn't pick you.
Yeah. Also, I kind of wanted to make note of the mystery judges. That's kind of creepy.
You know, it's
That's kind of weird. Like it's pretty much just a
really
stalker.
like, think of, okay, you've had a rough day. You have your rock friend that you go and you just vent to. What if you're doing that in a store and there's a sponsor behind the rack and you're venting about the clothes they're making you wear because you just hate them or something?
Yeah, no, I understand the premise of it, but it seems a little like
Binoculars watching you.
Yeah, he's got the newspaper with the eyes.
You know, I've never met my secret judges, so I wouldn't know even if that was them. So
yeah,
Gotcha.
yeah. There you go.
Awesome.
that's put that in the request box for the next Miss Rodeo Canada pageant.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. All right, so let's start off with the medicine hat title. So where did that like take you? Like, was that mostly just within Alberta, or did you go down south, the States? Like, how did that all kind of work?
I went to a lot of, we didn't really go further north in Calgary just because we are so far south. We do a lot of things locally. Anything going on within our community event, we attended and were a part of. With Medicine Hat, you have a princess as well. So you and your princess go everywhere, and you actually dress exactly the same as your princess so that people know that's that entity that's at that event. And we also have chaperones that attend with us as Medicine Hat Exhibition, Stampede Queen, and Princess. So they drive us around in our vehicle, take us to all our events, and then out of town, I was going to say tournaments because I've been in basketball mode this last month, but out of town rodeos, we would then go to kind of every now and then. I believe we went to Airdrie, we went to Ralston, we went to Maple Creek when they had one, we went to Calgary, we went to CFR. They usually like to take you to CFR just because then you can watch the Miss Rodeo Canada pageant for what you're going to be competing in the next year. And it's not mandatory to run the next year, but if a girl's interested in running, they want to take you there so you can watch and see what kind of questions they ask them and all that stuff. So, but lots of things throughout our community was like the huge thing. You're kind of the ambassador for Medicine Hat. So anything that our mayor was at, we were at.
And the term for that is a year, and you do stuff throughout the entire year, or is it kind of just the summer?
No, it's all through. So we have like our beef pen show. We have our Christmas holiday special. We've got our indoor rodeo. We have anything that goes on because our rodeo grounds is an exhibition and stampede. So it's an exhibition ground where it can be rented out, farmers markets, indoor soccer, all sorts of things. And so we would go every now and then to those events. Usually, we had things going on constantly in the summer. Your winter months, you know, we probably had something every 2 weeks that we had to go to and attend. Lots of radio interviews as well throughout your year that maybe it's a downtime, so they'd send you to the radio stations, TV stations here so that you could maybe start promoting indoor rodeo coming up or community events that are going on and all that stuff. And as Miss Rodeo Canada, it was like that on a whole new level. I think I was only home like 2 days and maybe a day in July, 2 in August, and started going south when we don't have a ton going on up in Canada, but your Canadian rodeos take precedence over anything in the States.
So then this might be a dumb question, but like, are you getting paid to do it? Because it sounds like you have no time for nothing else, or is it kind of just a kind of deal where just all your costs are covered, so you're not really paying for anything out of pocket?
Yes, when I ran, so things are different now, I believe. But when I ran for Miss Rodeo Canada, I had to prove or show a way that I'd be financially stable throughout my year because you can't work. So some girls fundraise and then they say if they don't win, they're going to donate this money here. Some girls can say, I don't know, here's what my parents said, they can pay for this, or, this is my income. I can still do my job on the road. So I was able to take some of my school funds and be able to show that I was able to use some of that for when I was running for Canada, and that would supply me throughout my year. And because you're not that you're not supposed to work, but like you said, like you don't have time to have a job. And when you're Miss Rodeo Canada, it's not, can you go to this event? It's, this is where you're going and this is what's going on. So my way was covered, all gas, flights, accommodations, food, everything was covered, but I have to pay for it up front. And then I send in my receipts at the end of the month to get reimbursed then usually about halfway through the next month. So that's why you have to show that you're financially stable to do that while you're traveling, because you have to upfront the bill and then they reimburse you.
So really, you just have to be financially stable enough to live for 1 month.
Yeah.
And then that'll carry you through the rest of the year.
Exactly. Thankfully, I stayed at home my years Canada. So my blessed mother, when I'd come home from a long weekend, she'd be like, "You look exhausted. I will get the laundry going. You can throw it in the dryer, or I have snacks for you, or I have meals for you." I was like, "Oh, thank you. You're amazing."
Awesome. So back to Medicine Hat, top event that you were able to attend.
Ooh, definitely my hometown rodeo. Like I grew up adoring rodeo queens. Like my mom called me the rodeo queen stalker because it was like, oh, I need to go see them. I need to get a picture. Becky Thompson I can't remember what year she was queen, but I was probably like 6, 7. I even got shirts made to look like her match. So then to be that person in that arena that I looked up to all the time, it was like so surreal. I wouldn't have changed anything for it. It was amazing for the first time to hear my name called when I was at my hometown rodeo, and it was like, wow, this is exactly where I need to be. But I got to go to so many cool things that even as Medicine Hat, that each thing has maybe somebody that you met or something you got to do that you didn't expect to do. I've been in a lot of eating contests, if you can believe it or not. I've been, as Medicine Hat, I won the watermelon eating contest. Just want to
Nice.
put that out there, that I champ my year. We did it all with the fire department, police station, and radio stations. And here's the queens with our hair tied back and the bibs and just going to town on these watermelons. And we were competitive, but it was fun. I've been in corn cob eating contests.
Corn eating?
Yeah, I've been in.
Did you go to Corn Fest?
No, I didn't.
Ah.
I was down south. I can't remember where. I've been in a few eating contests some that I was like, I can't do this. I can't. And I tried my best, and sometimes.
Do you think you could give Joey Chestnut a run for his money?
No. No, watermelon was easy. Like I love watermelon, so I was like, I got this. I got.
Yeah, hot dogs are a little different of an animal.
Yeah, I don't think I could eat a ton of them in a row and quickly. Watermelon's just water.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
That's fair.
It's pretty light.
Yeah. All right. So you finishing up Medicine Hat. Why go for the big title? Like, why go for Miss Rodeo Canada? Like, was that just an aspiration at the beginning of all this journey, or was that something like halfway through? You're like, you know what, this is something I want to do. Like, how does that, like, what was going on in the mind?
I'm very superstitious in stuff like planning for something before you've achieved the step before it. So of course, when I decided to run for Rodeo Queen, it was like, yeah, I would love to be Miss Rodeo Canada, but I didn't think too much about it till I won Medicine Hat. I didn't want to talk about it too much. I didn't want to. It was like, no, my first step is this. And then when I won Medicine Hat, it was like, awesome, sweet, I've won this. Now I know I can run for Miss Rodeo Canada. So then I was just on that goal train. But when I started thinking of running for Queen, that was always a hope that, you know, I would be able to accomplish that. I attended lots of Miss Rodeo Canada alumni events with my mom, being that shy little girl in the background, like, introduce yourself. And you're like, hi. So to then think like, okay, this is a possibility now. I can possibly reach this. That wasn't really a thought process until I had won Medicine Hat. And then I was all in. It was like I started studying a year in advance. I was preparing my speeches. And I actually had my speech all ready for Miss Rodeo Canada. And the year before, they were 4 to 6 minutes. And my speech was like 5 minutes and 30 seconds. So that, you know, because I knew I was going to speed up in front of people. And we got like our package for applying for Miss Rodeo Canada, which doesn't come out till August of the next year. And it was like 3 to 5 minute speeches. And I was like, oh no.
I gotta start cutting stuff out.
Oh, but it's so hard to cut things out of a speech when you've already got it memorized. It was like, oh my goodness. But I didn't really have a choice. I couldn't speed it up that much.
You start rapping it almost.
Why
So
did
what year was that you won Medicine Hat?
I won in 2016.
Okay, so then you took
Was there like a year break in between Miss Rodeo Canada and Medicine Hat?
The way Miss Rodeo Canada works is you run in the year before, but your title is the year that you are. So because of the way the pageant is, you run in November, which I ran in 2017, but my year was 2000.
okay.
That's the majority of your year as Queen. And now with the way it works, so when I won Miss Rodeo Canada, I got crowned on the Friday and boom, you're it. There is no crossover. As soon as that crown is transferred on your head, the other queen is no longer in the picture and you are the only one doing the Miss Rodeo Canada events. I went right to Las Vegas as my very first event as Miss Rodeo Canada, where now it's really nice. We have a lady in waiting process. So for example, like Mackenzie Skeels just won in November. She was crowned Miss Rodeo Canada, but she didn't actually become the current Miss Rodeo Canada until January 1st. So Calver finished out the year. So she finished out the CFR, even though we crown on the Friday. Mackenzie comes with her and wears the alternative crown because we have 2 now. And she, you know, attends events with Jaden, but Jaden's the one carrying the flag for Canada. Jaden's the one doing the interviews. If they're wanting both Miss Rodeo Canadas, then, you know, then Mackenzie would step up, like during Bucko presentations, they have both girls working. Then Jaden goes to the NFR, finishes out the year, and then Mackenzie takes over in January. So it actually does line up now that you wear your title for your year, where for me, I kind of had a year and a half.
Well, I even saw, I think at one point when I saw 2 this year, when I was scrolling through my Instagram, was one goes to like even the Maple Leaf circuit now, no? Is that kind of the reason why? So one can be at Maple Leaf, one can be an NFR?
No, it really started. So my year was the first year Miss Rodeo Canada was not allowed to ride the NFR. Some things had happened in the previous year, and before I was even crowned, they said, nope, she's not going to be able to ride. So because of that, my committee tried to do some negotiations with the PRCA and said, you know, we understand it might be nerve-wracking to send a new girl who had just been crowned. You don't know what she rides like. You don't know what she's like. We're going to let Brittney do her entire year and still try to be able to ride then at the next NFR. So that way, it's also your competitors you've been with for the entire year. So when we have Canadian athletes that make the NFR, it's not like, hi, I'm Brittney Chomistek, I'm the new Miss Rodeo Canada. It's like, hey, great season. Like, you know, you can chat with them, you can enjoy it, you can, you know, end it off like they are. And so they had that rollover. So I was actually able, the first Miss Rodeo Canada, to go to 2 NFRs. And then I believe last year was the first year that Miss Rodeo Canada got to ride again. And so Jaden actually got to ride in Vegas twice because Alicia Erickson was the current Miss Rodeo Canada, but she was singing Oh Canada on Canada night. So then Jaden got to go in for a wave lap because we got approved to be able to be there only on Canada night. Now, Miss Rodeo Canada used to be able to ride all 10 days, but, you know, take what you can get, be there on Canada night. That's an exciting night to be there. And then because of that, they're now letting Miss Rodeo Canada ride again. So she got to ride again this year at the NFR.
Okay, yeah.
Awesome.
So then you won it like your first time trying for it.
Yes.
And can you like keep trying until you win it, or you just got one shot?
For me, I had one shot at it. I wouldn't really qualify for other rodeos to be able to like support them. Medicine Hat actually has a radius that you have to live in it to run for Medicine Hat. Other rodeos don't, but to drive up to do things in Airdrie, or I'd have to move somewhere to run for a pageant. You have also 2 years to run from your title. So, for example, Medicine Hat, if I didn't want to run the year that I ran, I could have waited a year and still been able to run as Medicine Hat, but I would have had to wait and see if the current queen wanted to run first. So it's kind of like a gambling act, like, oh, you could take another year, because I was quite young when I won Canada. I was 20. So they actually had to sneak me into all my events at the NFR that were after 10 p.m. because I was so I would have been nice to wait maybe a year to run for Miss Rodeo Canada just because I was so young. Wouldn't change how I did anything, but so you can do that. Alicia Erickson is the queen that had ran twice for Miss Rodeo Canada with Miss Pinoca. The current girl didn't want to run, so she ran again and won Miss Rodeo Canada her second round, which was super exciting that she was able to do, because she is such an amazing person and was a great person to have for our CPRA during all the past couple of years that we had. She's the only Miss Rodeo Canada to have 2 years of her reign. So that was pretty cool. But you can run with the title, I believe, more than once, but it can only be within 2 years of you winning that title. Then you could run again, but you'd have to get another pro rodeo title. And you only have till you're 26 to be able to run. So it's 18 to 26.
Okay. And if you win it once, like you can't do it again, then you're done, right?
Yeah, it's 1 year done, other than Alicia had 2 years just because of the circumstances of everything that went on.
Okay. Do you know how many years they've been doing this Miss Rodeo Canada thing for?
I used to know it off the top of my head.
Was it an exam question?
It was.
Yeah.
Who was the first Miss Rodeo Canada? But
Because I mean, there's only one every year, so it's a pretty exclusive club. Do you guys have like a big party every year where all the Miss Canada girls come together and you guys just like, I don't know, let loose for a weekend or something? Or is that not something?
We do have an alumni bruncheon, which is the Saturday after the girl used to be decrowned, and they used to take her out as soon as she gave up her title. They take her out because you can't go to a bar, you can't post about drinking, you can't do any of that stuff. So they used to take her out on that Friday night, like, here's the crown on the new girl, sayonara. Alumni would take them out and all that stuff. But now you carry on your title through all of that stuff. So not really anymore, I wouldn't say. But alumni always goes to the fashion show. Usually a lot of us go, and there's lots of wine and eating and clothes, and it's just a grand time.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right, so Miss Rodeo Canada, where were some of the places that it took you, like physically? So what rodeos did you end up going to with that? Obviously you had the NFR and stuff like that. Was there other big ones that you went to?
I went to Denver. That was my first trip in the new year. I went to Florida, Kissimmee. I went to Pendleton, Cheyenne, Australia, which was a very cool experience. Wouldn't change.
Wait, there's a rodeo, when you went to Australia, were you meeting up with other rodeo queens in Australia? Because I thought out there just like PBR, that's all I thought was out there for rodeo.
No, I went to their national finals rodeo. They have a Miss Rodeo Australia, which I'm still very close with to this day. We went there for, I believe, Carrie and I, which she was my Miss Rodeo America, were there for 10 days. And we got to go to rodeos. There's tons of rodeo queens. Not as many as we have, but I think on Visiting Royalty Day, there was 10 different queens there on that day with us. We got to carry our national flags, and we actually all three carried them side by side into the arena. It's one of my favorite photos and videos that I have of all three of us, and they were big flags. And but their saddles don't have horns, and it's totally different over there. So
It's all backwards.
Well, are they like riding kangaroos instead of bucket horses, or like?
they sat Carrie and I down. We had an interview at a place, and they're like, "Okay, we're gonna ask you some Aussie terminology." We're like, "Okay, we're ready." So queens are very proper and very, like no alcohol, no. We have a cuffed collar, kind of a dress code, very pure. And he goes, "What are thongs?" And we're like our eyes probably got huge, and our Miss Rodeo Australia is just killing herself laughing, and we're like, Carrie and I, how do you even respond like correct, like without? We're like, pardon me, like what? And we're giggling. And he's like, no, answer the question. We're okay. We don't know. He's like, they're flip flops. We're oh my gosh, okay.
Oh, yeah, I think I remember that. Yeah, seeing that somewhere. That's so weird that they call them that.
Budgie smugglers are, and then they asked us I can't remember the other one. They asked us 3 that were kind of sounded a little touch and go with what we might have thought they would be, but those are Speedos, budgie smugglers.
Oh yeah. It's a very fitting name for him.
I loved my time in Australia. I've been back actually 3 times since to see the exact families that billeted me when I was over there. I went over for my Miss Rodeo Australia's wedding. We actually emceed her wedding, Carrie and I. We were just going to be guests, and last minute her MC couldn't make it for some reason, and she called us. She said, "You guys are the only people I know that can public speak coming to my wedding. Can you please do the emceeing for us?" And we're like, "It's an Aussie wedding. Are you sure? We can't say half the stuff." And he's like, "Don't worry, I'll have it all written out for you. It'll be fine." And so we're being very like joking and reading it off by script. And then it says introduce, I can't remember the song's name. Where we thought, okay, why is this song so special? It's not your first dance, not father-daughter or mother-son. And all the Aussie men run to the dance floor and drop their pants.
What?
Young,
What?
old, like grandparents, grandparents, uncles, cousins, little boys, and they dance this entire song with their pants around their ankles. And Carrie and I, again, being very proper queens, are okay. And she's like, "It's the song. You got to do it every event that we have. This is just a thing that we do." Okay.
Do you remember what the song was, or is it like an Aussie song?
It's an Aussie song, I think, but no, I was so baffled that this is what was happening at a wedding with grandparents and great grandparents that I couldn't even. Again, there's like a picture of Carrie and I with our big bug eyes.
Yeah, like what the hell is going on here?
But no, I loved it over there, and I wouldn't change the people that I met over there. And actually, my billet's son has actually been to Canada twice now to come visit and travel and see all sorts of things here. So the relationships you build throughout your year, you keep them forever.
Yeah, for sure.
Now I got a question about the Aussie coming to Canada.
Mm-hmm.
What were some things that he commented on that were different here than down there? Like, did you show him what a prairie oyster was and stuff like that, or no?
No, I didn't. He came end of August, kind of beginning of July. So I took him to Banff, and I took him. Where else did I take him? Took him to a few of our rodeos, and he didn't really think too much different, other than like how I talked and called things every now and then. He'd be like, "There's the Canadian."
Gotcha.
I don't know what to tell you, buddy, but I can't remember if there's anything he was like super shocked about. But
we have a buddy from Belgium named Massimo, and he's been in Canada for a while now, but now he's down in the States, and I think he's kind of picked up some Canadian lingo because while we were down there, he had another one of his Belgian friends that are working down there, and we'd be hanging out and he'd be talking, and Massimo would be saying "a" after a lot of stuff, so that his Belgian friend would look at him and be like "hey," right? Look at him.
See, I say "hey" a lot, like HEY, and then all my American friends and Aussie friends would be like, "There's the Canadian." I'm like, "No, it's not A, like EH, it's HEY. Hey."
Same thing though.
Then I get so self-conscious. I'm like, "Oh." I don't want to say anything now.
Awesome.
That's funny.
So you went to all these premier like rodeo events. It's probably hard to give like a top number one because like you hear about the Pendleton, you hear about Cheyenne, CFR, NFR type of thing. So what's like top three, like a general top three events that you went to
In no order.
in no order?
No order. Okay, Cheyenne, 100%. I was only in Cheyenne for actually 24 hours, but I loved it. It was the best flyby I've ever had in my life. It was so fast and just straight across in that arena. It was cool. Definitely Australia, and then the Canadian Finals Rodeo was my absolute favorite. Being the last girl in Edmonton and then the first girl in Red Deer was really special. And I actually took some of the dirt from Edmonton and took some of the dirt from Red Deer, and I have 2 jars downstairs.
That's actually cool.
I was getting my photos, and Dom was my chaperone at the time. He does all of our emceeing for Miss Rodeo Canada, and so I'm like, Dom, can you fill up this water bottle with dirt for me? He's trying to like, keep in his jacket, and
Yeah. Trying to smuggle dirt out of there.
yeah, I was like,
Just got a brick of dirt that you got taped under your car driving away.
yes, but I know those are the big rodeos, but they had such memorable moments. That was my favorite. I love any of the Princess for a Day things that I got to attend, which is what a lot of rodeos will do to get young girls involved, and they get to spend the day with the Queen or Miss Rodeo Canada. They usually get their hair done and their makeup done, and they get to come to the arena with us and see what we do and where we go. And those moments were always super special because that was me when I was younger. I never had the guts to put my name in for those things because I mean, I have to be in front of people, but I always idolized those girls. So to be a part of that at all these different rodeos was very special.
Gotcha. Awesome. So you had a lot of favorite moments and stuff like that.
She's
we're
not gonna answer that, Dad.
no, you don't even know what my question is.
Okay,
So
all right.
a lot of favorite moments, but also we're both food junkies. So
Okay.
what was a favorite food?
I thought you were gonna ask what her least favorite one was.
No, it sounds like she had too many favorite ones to have a least favorite. But we're both old. Like we're both, we're not the most best shape because we love our food. So top food, and then also weirdest food. Because I'm assuming like down south they're eating like gator or something like that.
So like top food, does candy count?
Sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Fuzzy peaches, hands down. That's my favorite thing in the entire world. You need me to do something, you gotta bring a bag of fuzzy peaches down. I'll help you. My weirdest thing I eat, don't judge, okay, but I dip my fries in my ice cream.
Oh, that's normal.
Oh, that's normal.
Yeah.
Yeah, Wendy's fries and Frosty, that's normal.
My family makes me seem like I'm so weird.
No, that's super normal.
Well, that's my weird. I'm a very picky eater. I've grown a lot since my years Miss Rodeo Canada. Before it was like I don't even eat ketchup on my fries. Like I'm so picky. And my years Miss Rodeo Canada, when you're starving and you're at an event and that's all they have to eat, you learn to eat other things. And so I've grown. I'm still not the best at trying new things, but I've grown a lot since my years.
Yeah, that's good.
That's awesome.
Only took
so-
2 years.
Sorry. We've been talking a lot about the like kind of just like the rodeo side of things and all that stuff, but we haven't really talked about like the fashion side of things.
This guy, all
well-
right. I'm gonna give backstory on Mason for the listeners and yourself. We go to Irvine's, and this guy could not leave without a brand new shirt every single time. Or Frayed Knot up here in Olds. Shout out to Frayed Knot. But Frayed Knot up here in Olds. This guy has a gazillion shirts like these.
No.
Like he's wearing one right now that's polka dot with a cowboy hat.
I actually got
and a
this
rope.
one. I got this one from Value Village, actually. No, but my question was, what was the coolest outfit you were able to wear? Because I would imagine at most of these events you're going to, you're probably not recycling a lot of the same outfits. It's probably a lot of new stuff every time, eh?
Yeah, I definitely dressed different than everybody else. I always wanted to stand out in a different way. My favorite thing I wore, I I had a lot of leather things that were custom made that meant something to me. So my grandma had breast cancer, and then she did end up beating it. So I had a special breast cancer vest that I would wear for her. My papa has stage 4 terminal cancer from prostate cancer, so I had a vest made for him that was always very special, and I got to wear them. So those were my favorite that actually meant something to me. And I actually re-wore a lot of things that my mom wore as Miss Rodeo Canada as well.
Oh, so they were kind of retro then,
Yeah.
eh?
So
That's
she
dope.
did shooting things, and I wore some of it when I ran for Miss Rodeo Canada. I'd wear it throughout my year. So those things were pretty special as well.
Mhm. Wearing like Mobetta shirts and stuff like that, looking like Garth Brooks.
Oh yeah. She had so much fringe, and fringe never goes out of style for queens or anything in Western, for the matter of fact. So
Yeah.
she had these very cool things that you could put over just a button up, because I had Roper Sets and Tin Hall shirts were my sponsor. So Wrangler jeans, of course, but for the tops, they were the button ups from there. So I could really dress up a sponsor shirt by throwing on her fringe things, and then it kind of meant something to me that it was my mom's.
What do you feel about like the super bedazzled jeans?
For queens, that's more of like a high school rodeo trend than I would say a rodeo queen trend. High school rodeo queens are very different than pro rodeo queens. Just what's expected of them and how their competition goes and how they're expected to dress. They're very monochromatic, completely bedazzled. I think there's a time and a place for all that stuff, and each queen has their own style. Some girls love rhinestones, some girls hate it. I think as long as you're true to who you are and what you want to wear, why not rock it? Who cares what people think? You be you. And so I did have a lot of rhinestone stuff for the arena. My arena wear was always different than my in-person wear, because when you're in an arena, you're this small little dot in the middle of the dirt. You have to be able to stand out. It's kind of, you got to have red lipstick, and like, you don't want to just be faded out and look like one of the competitors sitting in the arena. You're there as a billboard and to show that you're the ambassador for the sport. So I always had, bright colored things, rhinestones, long fringe when I was in there. But then when I'm meeting people face to face, you don't want to be like, here's my outfit and my makeup. You down a little bit and change it up. So I usually would change from in the rodeo to going to a sponsor visit in the afternoon.
Okay.
Gotcha.
So since we're talking about fashion right now, and this is just in general, it doesn't have to be Western wear, or it doesn't have to be Western wear. What's your biggest pet peeve in the fashion world? So these guys always give me a hard time, because whenever we go to the gym, I love putting on gray sweatpants and a gray shirt and like tucking it in, making me look like I'm 80 years old. They always give me a hard time about it, but I think I look good.
You never
right?
do, you never do gray on gray. That's just a standard fashion rule.
You
Never.
Yeah, you
Never
could
do gray on
totally
gray.
do gray on gray.
Nah. What's your opinion? Gray on gray?
I'm not gonna lie, I wear a lot of gray on gray.
Take that.
Yeah, one of the companies I work with even has this like gray sweatsuit thing that I wear all the time. So it's gray on gray on gray.
See, gray on gray is a look, Dev. It's just only some people can pull it off. So I guess maybe you're just not one of those people.
I guess so.
I don't really have like a pet peeve with fashion. I have a pet peeve on how people perceive fashion, because I hate when people try to tear people down for what they're wearing. It's like, you're not wearing it, so why does it matter? Just let people do them. It's different when you're with your friends and there's like a nice banter, but there's some people that go, oh, you can't wear that, or that shouldn't be worn. If that's what you like, go for it. I was an odd kid with style my entire life. Thank gosh, I never had social media when I was younger. I'm still thanking my mom to this day that she never let me get Facebook when it first came out. Because if I had social media evidence of myself in my teen years, it was bad. I went through an all camel phase, like hat,
Ooh, nice.
Nice.
hat, shirt, headband, purse, sweater, pants, socks, shoes, backpack. You couldn't see where I was.
Yeah.
And then I went through a 2 different colors Converse phase. So I would buy 2 different colors and then wear the opposite together.
Oh yeah.
And
My
then,
sister does that, but with Crocs.
yep. And I would wear basketball shorts that were like an extra large.
Oh,
Yeah, with the
yikes.
two different colors
Yikes.
Converse, and then a matching colored shirt. So, there's not a lot of photo evidence on social media, so thankfully, but I just wore what I wanted to wear, and thankfully my dad loved it. He's like, she'd never get a boyfriend. Like, this is awesome. High school. Yeah, dress how you want to dress, Brittany. Go for it. But I just think, like, wear what you want to wear. Who cares? Be you. We try to put people in a box too many times, and I think that's why so many kids nowadays are so worried about their presence on social media and their presence like at these different places, instead of, we're not meant to be the same person. Wear what you want to wear. So, like, I think it was last year I did like a one jean cuff and one not cuffed, and then I would put the non-cuffed one stuffed in my cowboy boot. And there's a bunch of times people are like, oh, you forgot to cuff one. I'm like, no, I did that on purpose.
Yeah. Yeah, people on TikTok and Instagram are ruthless, that's for sure. I guess the one main conversation people have though is if it's okay to like wear felt hats during the summer.
All the time, rodeo queens are not allowed to wear straws. Fun fact.
Really?
You are always with a felt. So I always wear a felt. Doesn't matter what time of year it is, because that's all I've ever worn as queen. Like, you will not catch a queen in a straw hat.
Ah, I didn't know that.
Yeah. My one thing from social media that I've seen is the whole duct tape your boot real tight.
Oh yeah, so you can put your skinny jeans over top.
Yeah. Do you approve that fashion trend?
The reason I would approve it is because they're buying the boots at Lamley's and they're buying the rodeo tickets. They're not trying to sneak in the back like everybody else. So they're the ones paying to be there. But I would, if a gentleman was like, hey, is this what I'm supposed to be? I'd be like, let's go pick out some different jeans. I will show you. If you like them, great. If not, just keep them how you want to keep them. Not how I would style them, but they support the industry. So
yeah. No, that's true. I like that's true. But when we went to Stampede this year, that was the first time I met. I've never seen the combination of like short, skinny jeans and cowboy boots so much in my life. It was interesting. But yeah, I guess they just don't know, right?
Well, and I'll
very go
tell so many people, hey, your hat's on backwards. Like, this is how you should be wearing it, and just kind of point them in the direction, because I used to think it was funny, like, oh gosh, look at them trying to be like us. But if you think of any hockey game, the people that are wearing those hockey players' jerseys, they're not trying to be those hockey players. They're there supporting them. And you don't ever look at them and go, geez, do they even like hockey? Do they even know hockey? You would never think that at hockey. You would never think that. Or at a football game, like, what do they think? They can play better than the people on the field? Like, you'd never think that. But in rodeo, we do all the time.
That is true. Yeah.
Yeah. But they're the ones that are filling the beer stands. They are the ones, buying those box seats so they can feel a part of it. They're the ones going and buying a complete outfit from Lamley's for one day. And we're the ones, hey, can I use your companion pass? Hey, can I come in the back? Can I, we don't want to support our own rodeos, unfortunately, because we think, oh, we're a part of it. Like, we should be able to just go. But those people in the stands that are wearing the interesting outfits are the ones paying so that you guys can have, your payouts for the day and for the rodeo, the way that the Stampede can, financially be able to roll. So I kind of think of them a little bit differently now, and I try to help them as much as I can. Of course, there's going to be people that get mad, and you just go, "Yep, no, you do you have
you, yeah."
Just trying to.
Yeah, I find that so funny especially TikTok. TikTok is the worst for it. Where I'll do it on purpose just because, like, I don't know what it is, but like I just I find enjoyment sometimes just seeing how big of like dickheads people are on TikTok. And yeah, some people are just like, oh my goodness, do you have nothing better to do? Right? Like, what is your problem, bro?
Oh, it's like, this isn't PG anymore.
Yeah.
It's crazy. But I also think, like, there are people that try to pretend to be something they're not. I'm not a huge fan of that. I think, if you're not happy with how you are, don't pretend to be something. Maybe try to be that something. But social media is so hard. Like, I have no idea how people in their teenager years right now mentally are getting through, judgment, and, you're already worrying about all that stuff in those years. And now you pull in social media where everyone's lives look absolutely perfect, and, nothing goes wrong in everybody's life. So I don't know how they're doing it, where I'm like basketball shorts to my ankles, playing sports, riding my horses. It was like, whew, I got her easy.
Well, and I've been out of school for some time now, so I don't know if they are even doing something like this, but because it is such a big thing, like, wouldn't be a bad idea if school started teaching like a social media education class,
Education/etiquette class.
like just to navigate through social media and just the internet in general, just because it's so big, right?
Yes, I wish we had more classes.
You're a
like
teacher, can't you do that?
Some of my kids are great on technology. Like, they've had a tablet in their hands since they were little. And then there's others that are like, we have to use a Chromebook. Huh? We play outside. I've got quite the mix. But I started helping building like a social media marketing for our Rodeo Academy, because how you present yourself on social media does affect how sponsors want to be a part of your lives, how it affects, the school's image and all that stuff when they're at these places. So that is something that I've started to kind of grow towards. And then also helping competitors. Like, social media is a great tool when used properly, but it can also be terrible and very harsh and very dangerous if you don't know how to navigate it. So I've kind of been going that direction, but at the same time, it's like, to teach kids what not to do, it's so open-ended. There's so many different things that you would have to teach them that they don't even have the capacity to even understand some of the things that you're trying to protect them from at these young ages. Like, they can't understand somebody being that much of a predator. Like, no, nobody would do that to me. Then, you're very naive, and, you don't think the worst of people. And then you get older and you're seeing the news and seeing everything going on. And it's like, holy cow, they should be watching for this, but they don't think like that.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah. No, it's believe it or not, Devin and I, we used to play post-secondary volleyball here in Olds, and one of the things that our coach made us do, like, first day, he said, everybody go through your Instagram, go through your Facebook, and if you have any pictures of there on you at a party or like drinking or anything like that, you delete that right now. Right? So
it was like the first meeting, like before the first practice, first thing you said. And I was like, oh, everyone's on their phones. Just going through. Like, oh, I didn't even think about that for a second,
That's the first thing I ask when girls ask, can you coach me? I'm like, first thing, how would you feel if you showed your social media to my grandma? Like, my grandma. And I say that because some grandmas are very progressive and very, oh yeah, enjoy your 20s and all that stuff. But like, how would you feel showing that to somebody else's grandma that you don't know what their perception of is? And if you think, I don't know if I'd want to show them, that shouldn't be on your account as a rodeo queen.
Yeah, that's probably a good rule of thumb.
Good rule of thumb. Yeah.
Oh, I'm so glad. Like, I didn't get Facebook until I won Medicine Hat, because to run a social media account that is like a business page, you have to have a social media. So I had to then download Facebook and create a profile. So my Facebook, thankfully, is almost like a job resume. Like, everything on it has been through my queening, my community involvement, my schooling. So I'm very lucky. But some people aren't as lucky. And another thing is, like, kids don't understand, once it's out there, and they think, oh yeah, like, no, it's not, or they feel invincible, but you don't realize it until all of a sudden something's out there that you don't want to be out there. Or maybe you find something out about somebody through social media and they thought they deleted it. And it's a very vulnerable world kids live in now.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Big time.
Awesome. All right, Mason. I kind of had one more question to wrap up the rodeo queen stuff. And it's like, what would you tell younger girls that want to become a rodeo queen? Like, what's your number one piece of advice?
Probably my number one piece of advice is to just start. Like, so many people think of, oh, we got to do all this stuff and I got to raise money to have these outfits, or I got to go to sessions and all this stuff. Just start doing things in your community, get your name out there. That's what being an ambassador is for the sport of rodeo. It's not just, the cool things that you get to go to. It's being a part of a community and promoting yourself. So surround yourself with those that feel that same way and just start. I was lucky that having my mom there for me when I went, hey, I'm gonna do this, but not everybody does, and so that can hinder them from knowing where to start. And so just go for it. Don't be worried about judgment. Find people that will support you in your corner and don't look back.
Yeah, no, that's a good piece of advice.
That is good.
Yeah,
That is good. Awesome.
although I don't think we have any aspiring
Hey, you never
rodeo
know.
queens that listen to this
Hey,
podcast.
you never know. You never know. You never
Hey,
know.
maybe they have a family member or sister or somebody that they're like, hey,
Hey,
this is
maybe,
nice.
maybe one of your little sisters has a weird or not weird aspiration, an aspiration. Well, it's not weird. Sorry, I didn't mean to say weird. I say weird as in I know his sisters, and they would not be rodeo queens. That's for sure.
It's okay. I take no offense to weirdness because I was definitely a weird kid. So I tell myself I'm wonderful, exciting, interesting, real, and different. So I'm prepared for that. It's all good.
Hey, how can you be normal when everybody's different, right?
Right?
That's a good quote.
Yeah.
With
All
my
right.
basketball shorts and two different colored Converse.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the camo backpack. Can't forget about that.
Can't forget about that.
Yeah, it was. Hey, it is what it is.
Awesome. So I guess kind of going back to social media. So you are big on social media. I don't know if you've seen her around on social media, but you've definitely come up. That's how we actually found you at first. Was that something that kind of came with being Miss Rodeo Canada, or did that something that followed it after and you kind of pursued it? How's that going?
I started it after. So I got a lot of things throughout my years Miss Rodeo Canada that I couldn't really post about. Tank tops, shorts. You can't really post about that stuff when you're Miss Rodeo Canada. We just because of our dress code stuff. And then I still wanted to thank all my sponsors. Like, I got to keep all my hats and all my clothes, and my makeup sponsor and skincare sponsor still sponsors me to this day. Like, she sponsors me for lifetime. My hair sponsor still, like, my salon that I go to has sponsored me since my year as Medicine Hat, and still to this day sponsors me. So I wanted to be able to thank them for that. And because I've always been somebody that dressed different, I wanted to show people how they could actually wear their queen clothes or things that they received throughout their year after, that it wasn't just, here's your queen wardrobe and you can never wear it again. So I took a stab at it. Honestly, it was just like, hey, let's give this a try. And I didn't think it would actually go the direction it did. And I didn't really have plans for it to go that direction. It was just kind of like a idea that was, oh, this would be cool. And maybe I'll see where that goes. And then Bex was one of my first big companies to work with me. I'd only had my page for like a month. And I reached out to them, kind of explained how my Miss Rodeo Canada year was, that they sponsor queens, and I would love to maybe have them take a chance on me. And they said, you know what, we saw your year as Canada, sure, we'll take a chance. And I've been with them ever since as well. And that then just kind of grew, and all of a sudden my social media kind of took off in a direction that I wasn't anticipating, and now it's taken a little bit of detour with videos and all that stuff. But I honestly didn't really think, oh, I want to be a fashion person. It was just, hey, I like this and I like to dress differently, and I want to show people a way they can use things either multiple ways or from a queen wardrobe in the past. And here I am.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. So there's bits and pieces to this, of course. I want to start with the videography side. You said that's something new.
Mhm.
First of all, what's your camera setup for all the video? Like I started getting into the media stuff a little bit
I need to buy an actual nice camera because I got an old Nikon from my dad that I use, and of course my drone. Can't forget about the drone. But what's your current camera setup?
I have a Rebel TI8, and then I also have a 7, and they're both Canons. I love them. My first camera I ever had, I won at my Queen pageant. It was my photogenic prize that I was given. So I started fiddling with it. And then I was just videoing, like my dad, when I video his runs, is always very particular on like being able to see the whole run and following it along. And so I'd always made sure I videoed his runs properly so that he could be able to see his throws and all that. And so I thought one day, oh, I'll just fiddle around with it. And I love putting music to things. I think when you do that, it can give a whole feel. That's why movies end with the credits with a song, to make you feel a certain way after a movie. And I started fiddling with it, and I thought, well, I'll just post it. Like, some people think this is cool. And then I believe it was last year, so I guess 2 CFRs ago, Flow Rodeo was like, hey, we'd love for you to do this for us at the CFR. And I thought, oh my gosh, I don't know anything about cameras. I just fiddle with my camera, like never taken a course. I just trial and error. And they were like, no, like, we want you to make these videos for us. Like, we see you make them of these team ropers. And they were just my dad's buddies, or when we were down south in Arizona, I'd just pull my camera out and fiddle with it. And then all of a sudden did that, and I was super nervous. But then more people started contacting me, and then I started going to more rodeos, and now I'm on the side of building social media content for competitors based on their sponsorships. So if that's, I don't know, just going to shoot from the hip, your sponsor's McDonald's, and so I'm videoing you specifically about McDonald's. So you pulling it up to the place, you going in, you're doing your order, you get that fresh steamy meal, you eat it and that stuff. Or if it's ropes, it's a video about your ropes, because it's great when guys say thank you to my sponsors. Well, if you want your sponsors to donate more cash and give you, that means, some guys are like, it's great they give me stuff, but I need money to help me get down the road. Well, then you need to promote them, and you need to promote them specifically, not just here's my sponsors and here's my run. No, what rope do you use? Why do you use it? Show yourself swinging it. Show yourself in the practice pen. Show yourself warming up, and all that stuff. If it's a gas sponsor, showing what your rig looks like, showing you pulling up to places, packing up your trailer. That then along with the post saying that this is what my sponsor is, this is what they do for me, this is why you should maybe go purchase that rope, or you should go, have this company as your fuel company, to whether it's UFA or whatever. Then they can see the value in you, not only that you do good in the arena, but you're also taking that social media step that much further. So this year I've now made it that I'm making those kind of sponsored videos for individuals, and then also for the sponsors to be able to post. They want to see good quality videos of the guys riding or roping. Yes, the full run is great, but when you can get up close and personal with the people they're sponsoring, then their followers see that individual as an icon for that brand, and that's a whole new market for people.
For sure. And I mean, if you think about it from the sponsor's perspective, like, the whole reason they're doing it is to promote their product or their brand, right? So if you can promote it that much better and make those cool videos, like you said, and actually explain, put more depth into it, like, they'll be a lot more happy, right?
Well, social media is free marketing. Like, never before have we had free marketing. You always had to pay for newspapers or radio or TV or something. You can post, like, booster ads, I guess, on social media with purchasing, but honestly, just doing it organically is just as good, and it gets the names out there. And then the sponsors see that you're not just there asking, give me this, give me this, give me that. You're going, this is what I'm worth, not only in the arena, but this is what I can do for you. So it becomes an actual partnership versus like a, one-sided.
Yeah.
I got another question off the top of my head regarding kind of equipment or whatever, because I know for myself, because I do most media stuff with their podcast, and I struggled to find a video editing program software that works as user friendly It doesn't cost you a fortune. So what do you use for anybody that's listening and is like, I like doing this stuff, but I can't find it in software. So what's the software that you use?
Believe it or not, I use CapCut.
That's
Same. I started using CapCut too.
It's user friendly. I do pay for it to be upgraded, so I have some different features on it. But the videos 90% of the time that I'm making are for social media, so they're on a phone. They're not meant for TV crew productions and all that stuff. So for what I build my videos for, it's perfect. This year I did videoing at the CFR for Cowboy Channel, but I'm sending my videos that I get for them right from my Canon to their producers. So they're the ones putting it together for the TV series that was being filmed there. So I didn't need a super high quality videoing editing app for specifically TV related production. So that's kind of a bonus with social media, is it's meant to be a phone basis viewed. So I find it user friendly. I can upload it easily to my Instagram. I can input any videos and sounds. You can overlap things. You can spread it apart, have nice transitions, and it's perfect for what I look for.
Because I was using Adobe at first last year, but it was just so like difficult to use. I found it was really hard to learn. But then I switched over to CapCut for this year season of our podcast. Way easier, way nicer. So I guess if anyone's wondering, CapCut's the thing to go with. So
Adobe's not super user friendly. I don't think so. That's why I don't like it. I tried it, didn't overly love it. CapCut, I've been able to find the features on it that I need. I can, do everything that I needed to do on Adobe, but have a more user-friendly procedure in the process.
Awesome. All right. So there's that aspect. And then you talked about a bit like the modeling aspect of everything. So like what kind of goes all into that type of thing? Oh, you're there. Oh, you're back. All right. So yeah, what kind of goes into the whole modeling aspect? Like, is there like a regiment to it type of thing? Like when you approach a sponsor to model, or they approach you, like what goes into like a shoot even, or stuff like that?
I have different packages for different brands for where I'm at. Right now, usually if a sponsor's like, or a company is like, yeah, we want to use you, I chat with them about if they want to find the photographer, if I want to find the photographer, or if it's all up to me on, hey, this is our stuff, make it look however you want to look it, like make it look like. Some people want a certain image, so I don't know, it's a jean jacket, but they want real rustic, roping, riding, Western horses kind of a feel. And then, so they might say, yeah, this is the kind of vibe we're wanting. Or they might say, hey, style it how you think it would be. We just kind of want this kind of mood. And I go from that. Modeling has never ever been my, I guess, go-to. Like, I never thought I would be somebody in front of the camera, but I really just kind of chat with the brands on what they want. My packages depend on, they're not static, like here is how it is. It's very much based off of what the company is looking for, what kind of promotions. If they're just wanting the photos of me and not me posting on social media, it's super easy. They just send me the stuff. I, send them the photographer that I possibly think of using, or they tell me, hey, this is where the location is. This is where it needs to be. You show up and just kind of vibe with the photographers, get some music rolling and see where it goes. And usually that's when the best stuff's created, because it's more authentic and more you. But, it's not something I plan all the time. I just kind of feel the vibe out of the individual that is wanting the content made. And then I try to find the best resources for photographers and go from there.
Awesome. So what are some brands that you worked with either now or in the past you kind of maybe even want to give a quick shout out? I don't know. We're a small podcast, so it won't be a lot of people, but it'll be some, I guess.
No, I have a lot that have been there for me and have been great brands to work with. Smith Built Hats in Calgary has been with me since I was Miss Rodeo Canada. A majority of my hats are Smith Built. They're a great company and a great hat brand that I've modeled for, worked with, and now I continue to wear them, which are my felts I wear in the summer. So for those of you who think that's not okay, just go for it. And I've actually started working a lot with Times jeans down south,
Oh, nice.
and I love them. So I actually wear men's Times. They have the little knife pocket, and I put my chapstick in it, believe it.
Nice.
Yes, but
Awesome.
I've been actually styling them more to show like, hey, these are men's jeans, but this is how you can wear them, or you can have them the loose fit or tighter fit or whatever you're wanting, and how you can style them as a woman, because it's so nice. Men's jeans makes so much sense. Like, this is the waist size and this is the length size. It's not rocket science. It's not like you go here and it's one size and you go there and it's another size.
Bigger pockets too.
Oh, right. I put my phone in it.
Hey, do you got a promo code for those Times jeans?
I don't, unfortunately.
Okay. Because yeah, every time I go to Irvine's and I see them, I gasp when I see the price tag.
Thankfully, I've had some great shoots, and they've sent me some boxes, and it's always like Christmas when you open them up, and it's like, ooh. It's funny. Some companies I work with, they let me keep the stuff, and some companies I work with, I send it back when I'm done, just like as if it was a modeling fashion show type thing. You wear it, do the photos, and send it back. So everything's kind of different. With Times, I've been able to keep the things that I've worked with them, and I love them. I still love my Wranglers. Like Jeff, he is the main person with Wrangler. I met him the night I had won, and I got to sit in his box, and he sat down beside me, and he was asking me all these questions, and I was still kind of in a gaze, and he goes, "You look like you need some food. Would you like some food?" And I was like, "Yes, please, thank you."
Yeah.
And so he brought me like a big plate from the suite and sat down with him. So I still love working. I work with Jeff sometimes when I'm at the NFR. I did a shoot for Bex last year that he styled me for with all Wrangler apparel. So I'm not like for Miss Rodeo Canada, you have your main sponsors and that is it. I work with as a business promoting brands. So if you're wanting to work with me, I will work with you. Like, it's not exclusive to here is your hat brand, here is your jeans, here are your clothes. So that's why there are so many companies that I do work with, because it's not a sponsorship, it's a business partnership.
For sure.
Gotcha.
So when you're doing the modeling, I'm gonna make a Zoolander reference here. So Derek Zoolander, his main look is blue steel. Do you have like a signature look, and do you have like a name for it?
Lots of people call like the cuffed up jeans my look. Apparently, I did that because I'm 5'2" and jeans are too long for me. So you roll them up.
Well, then we got to make a name for that then.
Yeah, but I don't have a name.
What about Daddy Short Legs?
Just pictured the smallest daddy long leg spider in the world, and just
That's awesome.
oh my gosh.
Awesome.
People out there, don't make that stick.
Yeah, we'll cut that from the podcast for you.
No, that's what makes the best podcast. So come on. I'll let her go. No, that's probably my, like, what lots of people do think of me as. I cuff all my jeans. Well, almost all of them, unless I'm riding. It's just something I always do. I like the look of it, and my go-to.
Gotcha. Awesome.
Mhm.
All right, we got two more questions here. My like kind of last one about the whole social media thing is, you referenced it before, you got to work with Cowboy Channel, which is pretty cool. Like, it's the only place we can really watch rodeo on live TV. How was that experience, and what did you kind of do with that? And are you going to continue working with them in the future?
Yeah, so I worked with the Canadian Cowboy Channel. At the CFR, it was my first time working with them. I absolutely loved it. Getting to create video content for them behind the scenes, because there's so much going on other than what's in the arena, the whole preparation, and that's where you build a connection between your audience and then the competitors that are competing. You have to make them feel like they know these competitors, and that's what puts people in the seats, and ticket sales go up then. And so this year I was able to do that, and I hope coming forward into the next year that I'll be able to continue on. It is hard with being a teacher. I was very fortunate this year to be able to be given time off for the CFR and the NFR, and that was because, though, I got hired for 3 days before school started. I wasn't planning on teaching. I was planning on subbing because I was working for social media at the CCMAs. I was working at CFR for Cowboy Channel. I was down at the NFR doing photo shoots and some other things that I had going on down there. So I was like, oh, great. First year, I'll sub, I'll get my foot in the door with schools. And I actually got a call saying this position opened up in Foremost and that they really wanted me to apply. And I thought, well, it'd be great to get some more interview experiences, because interviews for teaching are totally different than interviews as queen, but still very similar. But it's a different world. It's a different kind of question. I didn't have them all rehearsed in my head like I had for queen. And so I did the interview, and they called me back, and first in the interview, they said, well, is there anything that would hinder you from doing the job? And I said, well, I work here, 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 and here. At the CFR, I'd need a week off, and NFR, I'd need about 2 weeks off. And they said, if you take the job, we will give you those days off. There will be no pay, but they won't affect your contract at all. And I thought, how many first year teachers can negotiate this much time off to be able to go zilch? And
They must be pretty desperate and Foremost.
it's not a lot of people want to move out there to teach for a year or something. So I thought, it's a great foot in the door. It was a great school. I wanted a rural school, different kind of kids, different kind of atmosphere. And then you kind of already have that connection with them, like, oh, you ride horses, or you were a queen, or, you already have that in with them, which makes a little bit easier to create relationships and that stuff. But I thought, well, why not? And then what happened was, as another teacher, ironically, another Chomistek, not related, but decided to not sign the contract right before school. So they were kind of caught in a sticky situation, and it was the best thing for me. So I wouldn't, change anything. It made the fall absolutely crazy. Your first year teaching, and the amount of sub plans I wrote, and trying to, figure my crap out and do all my rodeo stuff, but I was able to do that. I don't know next year if that would be an option, if I am teaching out there again, just because, you can't take off a week at a time. You only get so many sick days a year. And so it would have to be a summer opportunity, or, who knows where I'll be next fall. Things are always changing, and I'm a big believer of, if you see an opportunity, go for it. You never know where it's going to take you. And, accepting the Foremost job brought me to the Rodeo Academy, and I didn't even know they had that when I accepted the position. So next year, who knows? I hope I'm back there doing stuff, but still being able to do my videos at rodeo. So it's a hard thing to be able to pick between the two, because your rodeo start in April, May, June. You can't go down the road as much. Yes, I have weekends, but if I was contracted out for an entire rodeo that starts Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I would have to be able to only go on the Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Okay. Yeah.
Awesome.
Awesome.
Okay, I got one more question.
All right.
Now,
You're good.
all right. What's the Rodeo Academy like? Because that's something that I don't even know of any school in Alberta that has a rodeo academy, other than, I guess, now Foremost. So what's that about? Like, what are you doing with that type of thing? Or what events even are the kids allowed to participate in? Because I'm assuming at the younger age they can't do certain events. So what's that all about?
So we have bareback riders, bronc riders, bull riders, and then for the junior high kids, they do saddle bronc and bareback on steers at high school rodeos. But what we have right now, we actually just got a grant to build an indoor arena. So at Foremost, our rodeo grounds is actually across the soccer field from our school grounds. So we have an outdoor facility, which is run by the Egg Society, and they were letting us use it. Now we are in the process of starting to get an indoor arena built so that our kids can ride during the winter as well. With this, we have specialized coaches that are hired for each event so that they can come to the school once a week to be able to work with kids on their event specifically. They also get put in a social media marketing module, public speaking, all those aspects of rodeo that you don't really practice, because when you do well, you learn to do interviews by doing them.
Mhm.
It's not something that's just natural to people. So we've built a public speaking module so that they can learn how to answer those generic questions that always get asked, how to promote themselves. And then they'll also do in the spring, they get to ride. That is their afternoons. They will get to saddle up their horses and go ride over at the arena. We're looking at getting stock so that we can buck and that we can rope. We have our Heliomatic dummies and bronc machines. They're on their way. So right now we do have that stuff, but we're looking to give kids an avenue for rodeo, and then to also build those connections with college rodeos down south, because lots of kids that do go south to rodeo at college rodeos, they have to figure it out themselves. We should be able to create a pathway for them that, yes, they have to put in the effort and the ability, but we have those connections there to make that a little bit easier and more smooth sailing for them, and for parents to promote that, hey, yes, your kid wants to rodeo, but they can also college rodeo and get an education down there. And to promote that professional side of it is really nice for parents to be able to see the value in it as well. Of course, majority of parents that have kids in rodeo love rodeo, so they already see the value in that. But to add the public speaking module, to add the connections with the college rodeos, you can't tell me somebody's not going to do an interview at some point in their life. They're going to apply for a job, or they're going to, all that stuff is life skills that I think more kids should be taught in this day and age, especially with hiding behind social media. We're a lot more to ourselves and not that great in the public eye, sometimes communicating and all that. So our Rodeo Academy is really about giving kids an avenue to do the sport they love while also promoting good student athletes. And if you can do that in baseball and hockey, why not rodeo?
Exactly. Yeah.
Why not do that? And I would love to get where we have kids coming for trick riding and having modules like that, or we're looking at even giving kids a photography module. So they attend Rodeo Academy, but their job is to be making videos of the kids that are in Rodeo Academy competing. They're the ones taking pictures. They're the ones doing the social media posts. And instead of being in the arena during arena time, they're the ones taking photos, or maybe taking a photo editing class so that they can build themselves up, because rodeo isn't just the people in the arena. It's also those timers, the judges, the volunteers, the committees. Like, it's so big that
Clowns.
yeah, exactly. Like, why we should be able to have all that in our Rodeo Academy, because we need everybody to be able to put on a rodeo. And then a module that they're also going to have to put on their own rodeo, and it's going to be a jackpot night. They'll have to advertise it. They get X amount of dollars. Figure it out. If you want to spend that all on one announcer, well, figure out how to get the rest of it. You guys have to budget it yourself, and it also puts a lot of understanding on the kids putting on their own rodeo versus just, mom and dad, and you show up, you pull your trailer in, you ride, you rope, you do whatever, and you head out. Sometimes you don't realize how much work goes into putting on those events so those kids can compete. And then their coaches will also attend X amount of high school rodeos per month so that they can have that individualized coaching. And then, they go to their high school rodeos on the weekend, but they still get practice time during school to get credits.
Mm-hmm.
So will you guys offer wild cow milking?
I don't know if our insurance will cover that.
No, that actually sounds awesome though. Like, Devin, we might need to forge some birth certificates and go back to school just so we can attend this.
Wouldn't you love to program like that when you were younger? Like, I would have loved that way more than art.
Devin and I never did rodeo, but like, it looks like that sounds like it would be wicked.
Well, that's coming to my next question. Like, can any kid do this? Because I know like we didn't grow up rodeo, or we don't rodeo at all, but I'm assuming, like, can any kid, some kid that grew up, I don't know, like in town type of thing, can he go up and learn how to get on a bronc or anything like that? Or like, how, like, can anybody do it?
Right now, we don't have it set up to have both categories of individuals, the ones that are super competitive, maybe just starting. But we do have people that we have some kids that are trying steer wrestling for the first time, trying bronc riding for the first time. They do ride and they do have been around horses and understand that aspect, but don't know what event they want to compete in. So they can dabble here, which is nice in a safe environment, and learn how to properly keep yourself safe. They also are going to have to do a sports med module, learning taping and that kind of physical aspect, mental aspect of the sport of rodeo, because it's more demanding, I think, on a mind than any other sport, because it's the only sport that you don't get paid if you don't win. Hockey players, it doesn't matter if you're the worst team in the league, you still get paid. Basketball players in the professional leagues, you still get paid if you lose. You might not get paid the big bucks, but you still get paid. Rodeo, you don't. So if you're not taking care of yourself mentally, then it can be a hard game. But I'd love to get where there might be an option to bring people in that have never been around horses, never been around rodeo, because that's how you grow your industry, is by feeding and fueling your youth so that it doesn't die. But at the same time, with our insurance, I think it's very important these first few years to have individuals that are very aware of horses and the understanding of all that, so that we can build the program to where it is. And when it gets big enough, to be able to have maybe a side option that is like, hey, it's a smaller, not dumbed down version, but a more like beginner type course that you could either take the Advanced Rodeo Academy or maybe the Beginning Rodeo Academy. And that's would be like way in the future. We're just trying to keep ahead of ourselves and give kids a good option for this next year. And we have a few kids coming from different cities that are actually now transferring to Foremost. We have a billet program so that kids can billet, keep their horses there, or, rough stock guys are very easy to put in a billet. They just have their gear bag. So it's awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah, that would be something in the future I would love to grow, because I love sharing my passion for horses and my love for watching the sport and being a part of it, whether it's roping, riding, whatever. And there's lots of really great athletes in rodeo that didn't come from a ranching riding background. There's quite a few that decided, hey, this is where I want to go, and they went out and found resources. They went out and did clinics and made their way themselves. They're just as much as a cowboy as any other person in that arena, and they're competitive. And if anything, they're more driven because they had to pave their own path. So I don't think we should close that door. But it's also for insurance and safety matters for right now, that I wouldn't want somebody new getting on a bronc.
Yeah, it could definitely be a bit of a liability issue.
Yeah. But believe it or not, like, our division is amazing. Like, Eagle Butte has a flight program. Kids are flying before they can drive a car and building planes. And it's like, holy cow, this is amazing. So for them to be so supportive of our rodeo academy, they're like, whatever you need, we need to get this happening because we see the value in the program. And we actually had our superintendent and deputy superintendent come out to Foremost Rodeo for our high school rodeo. Never been to a rodeo, and they're working the gates, and they're in there, and the one of them kind of tapped me on the shoulder. He's like, kids come out and they're helping each other. I'm like, yeah, that's rodeo. Like, they're happy and they're enjoying it. Of course, it stinks when you don't do well, but they're like, oh, we can't believe how they're carrying themselves. And I'm like, high school rodeo is even higher than, they have to be wearing their back numbers, and they can't be swearing at high school rodeos. They can get fined, and there's so many higher aspects that they're held accountable for, and they just couldn't believe it. So they were all there. We have no idea what you need or what anything is, but we want to be a part of it. And we were so excited for that, and we haven't looked back since.
No, that's awesome. Well, and even like going back to the one thing you said before, like, yeah, it's very true. Like, in rodeo, if you don't win, you don't get anything. Like, even Happy Gilmore, he got last in like every tournament, and he was still able to buy his grandma's house back. So
yeah, it's kind of sad and frustrating, but also exhilarating and makes you work that much harder. But yeah, rodeo is the only sport that if you don't win, you don't get paid. And so whether that's promoting your sponsors for them helping you get down the road, or being that competitive that you can stay up in those top banks to be able to pull in some money.
Yeah, for sure. Awesome.
Mhm.
Awesome. You got any more questions about the academy, Dev?
Nope, that's most of
Okay.
them. So.
Yeah, I would be surprised if there was more of those that get started up in the
that'd
future.
be sick. That'd be
Right?
Yeah, I could see one supporting like central Alberta as well, like the
Yeah.
whole Rimbey to Olds kind of Three Hills area. But
I think even like if one high school in Calgary said, you know what, let's try and figure this out. Like even in the main
that
cities,
might be a stretch in the
hey,
city.
you never know. Like Calgary has the biggest stampede or biggest rodeo in the world. Like why not have one there, right?
They
So
have the facilities. So that's been our more so. We've been dependent on waiting for this grant to be able to see if we can even run it full year, because if we don't have an indoor arena, we can't really do much in the winter. There's only so much you can do in your gymnasium, which is roping the dummy and tying the dummy. There's only so much you can do there. So that's been a game changer for us. But little plug, our registration for next year is going to be opening up in a week. So
Oh,
just a little
hear
heads
that, kids?
yeah.
anybody you know, send them our way.
All right, will do. All right, so we just have a couple random questions left for you here. We ask all of our guests this. What's your favorite beer?
I like a Coors. That's
Like Banquet or Light?
Banquet.
There you go. Good answer.
Good answer.
That's pretty good. Yeah. Pilsner is also pretty good. I mean, you're pretty close to Saskatchewan there.
Yeah. Got my professional answer or my real answer?
Professional.
It's not for everybody, but you know what? You know, everybody's got a different taste. You can't win them all.
That's fair. Yeah.
That's fair.
Although Bronc beer is not too bad either.
Bronc is really good, actually. Yeah, I got to get some more of that.
They have some new stuff coming out this year.
Bronc does?
Yep, they'll have a few different things coming out, probably in spring or early summer. Some new flavors, some new spritzers, all sorts of things, I believe.
Is this common knowledge or is this first been told on the Hicks and Sticks podcast? Like, is this common?
No, yeah, it is. No, it's not exclusive. Sorry.
Damn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right,
No.
very last question. Who's your Super Bowl champ this year? Where's your prediction?
I don't watch it.
All right, I'm gonna tell you the teams, okay? And you just pick one, okay? Okay, so there's the Eagles, there's the 49ers, there's the Bengals, and there's the Chiefs. The Bengals has Joe Burrow. I'm sure you've probably seen pictures of him before.
Yeah, but I don't know much about it. So, can you repeat them? I don't even remember the first ones. The Chiefs,
the Eagles, the 49ers, the Bengals, and the Chiefs.
I feel like I've heard more about the 49ers, so I'm gonna go with that.
Okay.
All right.
All right, hear that, folks? Any gamblers out
Right
there?
here.
We'll put the mortgage on that.
That's good. If they do well, somebody needs to come give me a pat on the back, so I won't know they did well.
All right, I'll let you know.
My dad like watches it, but he doesn't pick a team. It's like who's ever playing, he roots for the underdogs. So then it's like it would just be on, but it's not like we ever followed sports.
Yeah,
Dad would
that's
just
usually what I do too. Or if there's like one player that you know, you just root for that guy. Or
your fantasy team. Or for us, we had fantasy this year. So you're always rooting for your fantasy player.
yeah.
And then if you had multiple fantasy players playing against each other, then it got complicated. But that's okay.
We had like the kids I graduated with last year, they created a fantasy league, and they're, Brittney, come on, like you don't have to know anything, we'll help you. And I was like, yeah, I'll support you guys on the side. And they got so competitive with each other. I'm like, geez, I'm glad I'm not involved in this.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it gets pretty intense. Like,
and I'm competitive, so if I don't know anything about it, how can I be competitive? Studying football at nighttime.
Yeah, then you'd get obsessed with it.
Thankfully not. I have enough obsessions that I don't need another one.
Yeah, fair enough. Awesome. All right. Well, that was all of our questions. Was there any people or any businesses that you wanted to shout out here?
You know, there's there's so many. My main businesses are, Bronc Beer is a Canadian company that I do work with, and I love them and support them to the fullest. Beck Sunglasses wouldn't be here without you guys. So you took a chance on me, and I like that song, Take a Chance on Me.
Take a chance, take a chance, take a chance.
See, maybe I could have ran for Canada with us singing. I could sing
Yeah,
that.
right.
There you go.
Yeah.
Shoulders going, get the shoulders going, maybe get a little two-step in there.
That's right. Yeah.
Get the people
Oh.
out in the audience with the phones going
No,
like
you
this.
got to use lighters. Put the
Oh.
phones down. Use a lighter.
Use a lighter.
Do it right. If you're gonna do it right.
But no, they're the reason I'm here. I truly believe, because they did take a huge chance on me and just thought, well, we saw you as queen, and here I am today, and I still work with them and I still support them. So yeah.
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you so much for taking time out of your evening. This is like almost 2 hours here. So
Yeah.
thank you so much. We appreciate it. And yeah. You got anything to add, Deb?
Do you want to plug your own social medias in too?
My own social media, Canadian Cowgirl Closet.
Boom.
Then there you go.
Go give it a follow, folks. Thanks again, Brittney.
Thank you for having me.